Join me in this exploration for Fremantle's opals. Until my sister Margaret Richmond and her husband Ken visited from Canada in January 2007, I wasn't really into opals. Didn't know too much about them. When Marg began to shop in Fremantle to find an opal to buy as a gift for a Canadian friend, I took an interest. I learned that they're not nearly as hard as diamonds, and they can be fairly easily scratched or damaged. And there's quite a few ways of treating them to make them into jewelry. They're found not in Western Australia, but mainly in South Australia, New South Wales and Queensland. On the web there's lots of books about opals, and they're really inbred in popular culture. It's a common woman's name, and there are streets and cities named Opal. It's also the name of a women's basketball team here in Australia. It's amazing how much publicity is attached to this precious stone. It's amazing too how many books have been published containing the word opal. Opals are particularly important to South Australia, where they're found in Coober Pedy. They became the South Australian inland on the 15th of August 1985. Precious opals rank with diamonds, emeralds, rubies and sapphires as a very valuable gemstone. In popular culture you come across them frequently. For instance, the Telstra phone card once featured the opal. There is a lot of information on the web about the opal, and quite a few stores. Fremantle has at least 5 opal stores, while Perth has many more. And many of these stores have their own websites with information about them. I've never heard of Lightning Ridge before, but I learned that it is a New South Wales town that is the source of the black opal. I also learned about Boulder opal, found in Queensland. Actually, this postcard of Lightning Ridge shows it's really a bit of a primitive place from the looks of it. Opals are truly a beautiful stone. Interestingly enough, Australia produces 97% of the world's opals. 90% is called light opal, or white or crystal opal. White makes up 60%, and all opal fields produce white opals. Crystal opal is black, and only 2% is Boulder opal. Margaret first starts her search in Perth at Quilpie Opals on Murray Street. Margaret does look interested, and there's lots of other people looking as well. Margaret visits the tourist centre in Fremantle and finds out that there is an opal shop on Market Street, not very far from the Fremantle train station. She decides to visit it here. We arrive on a warm but fairly overcast and rainy day. This is very unusual for Fremantle during the summer months, which are usually very hot and very dry. 18 Market Street, Fremantle, Opals. That's Margaret and Ken to the right, checking out the windows first. Ken wasn't into buying an opal himself, but I think he was checking out the prices. And when you see them at $1,500, you begin to worry. Even through the shop window, they look quite stunning. And they can be made into all kinds of interesting jewelry. An opal ring. Here's an opal woman's pendant that looks absolutely stunning. I'm not quite sure who'd wear this, but it's a woman's armband with an opal. I was struck by this particular opal mainly because it radiated an ultraviolet light. Apparently you can manufacture opals now synthetically, but they don't shine in ultraviolet light, so I'm told. Here's a close-up of the same. What a mixture of colors. This beautiful opal is actually a tie clip. I certainly couldn't afford this one. It looks like the crown jewels. This opal in the storefront has a price of $1,400, so they do get very expensive. This white opal almost looks like a pearl. It's interesting to see the opal structure embedded in the rougher rock. It gives you a much better idea of how they're formed and how much work goes into gathering them. This opal carving is interesting. I certainly don't think it's Australian because Australians aren't really into doing seals or walruses. More opal rocks on display. This one looks super expensive. I didn't actually see this opal, it was a photograph on the wall. Personally, if I were to buy an opal, I think I'd be just as happy with one like this. Opal embedded in rough rock that one could use as a paperweight. I think that's more my style. Well, I've had enough opals. If you want to see more pictures of opals, eBay has something like 20,000 pictures of opals online advertised for sale. And when I checked the net, I found that probably you could buy opals off the internet anywhere in the world, probably as cheaply as going to the local store. We've finished our search for opals for this morning, and we're meeting a friend for lunch at a place called Clancy's Fish Pub in central Fremantle. Fremantle is not a large city, and it's not a high-rise city either. It's quite a good tourist city, not too busy and really laid back, with coffee bars and lots of small shops. We take lots of time for Ken to sit and relax. Here he's outside of Fremantle Church. Fremantle has quite a few interesting sculptures. This one in bronze seems to be of an early artist or filmmaker of some kind. This magnificent old fig tree is said to be 1,000 years of age. Margaret takes in a bit of street art, quite high quality on this garage. We reached the Princess May Park, and that's the old Princess May Primary School, which has now become the Fremantle Community Education Centre. Clancy's Pub, an Irish pub of course, is just located to the left. A traditional Federation, tin-roofed, wide balconied building. We walk across the park along this path and plan to sit outside to dine. Yes, our friends have arrived. That's Anthony Deutschman in the background and his parents who are visiting from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. John to the left and Jean to the right. Ken and Margaret are in the foreground, and my pint of beer is in the photograph. We admire Australian art. Here I think is a dryser bone protection against the rain. And finally, this amusing poster at the Opal shop of the Thunderbox. Thanks, dear viewer, for joining me on this exploration of Fremantle opals. I do appreciate your company and have a good day. I guess you realize, of course, that opals are not really found in Western Australia and are imported to the shops.